he kept saying that we were the ones that did Sardine and Smithville. I'm like, I just don't want the council to listen to me like, huh? Yeah.
Right.
Just let you know you have a hot mic.
The council.
Yeah. Okay. Are you ready, Angie?
I believe so.
Okay. Well, let's get going if that's okay with everybody. Welcome to our October 20th COSAC meeting. Our primary agenda is to continue our work on some of the promotional activities that we've identified that we'd like to move forward with. So unless anybody has anything else as far as the agenda goes, everything seem okay as far as what we want to do today? Okay, great. Well, without objection, we'll move forward with this agenda then. And then what would you like to do, committee members? Angie, I'm assuming you don't have anything in particular to discuss or
Nope.
anything in particular. So I know that.
I can bring up, I can
Okay.
bring up the draft letter.
Great.
Into the Google Drive if you want to look at it that way. I also printed it off for you.
Great, thank you. And Claire's been working on updates and solicited feedback from folks on the letter, and then Angie's printed off that most recent version. And so should we talk about that first? Work on that?
Either that or do the list.
The list?
The list, then we'll know
Okay.
who we're sending the letter
Okay.
to.
Okay.
Great, yeah,
That might
sounds
affect
good
it.
to me.
Do you want me to plug in and show you the breakdowns? I got them in slides.
Yeah, I
so-
think the council, like Keegan did a good job in his last email summarizing kind of what they're looking for, right? Like they want to know how we came to recommend these lists, right? So, yeah, whatever
Okay, and
criteria you
I can
used.
show you this, and then
Yeah,
we can alter it from this. So, is there an HD? There is HDMI over there.
in the meantime, I'll just ask, since you're a visitor here, is there something in particular you're interested in learning about here? Okay.
160 acres.
Uh-huh. Yep. Yep.
We know, but they're building around us. We're building our farm, whatever they want to. We want to keep it
So you may be interested in applying for. Great, great. Well,
How did you hear about us, by the way?
Regan actually
What's that?
said, Regan actually
ah,
forwarded us.
good. Yeah.
He's our neighbor down.
Yep. Yep. Down the river from you guys?
Well, we're on the top of the hill.
Yeah, okay. Let's see, are there any particular questions we could answer for you? Because I don't want you to have to sit through all of this stuff that we're just talking through. If you have some specific questions,
Well, he just said in that text that he sent that if we needed any more information to ask for, the paperwork.
okay,
Because we've gone through the, state, and it takes about 5 years.
to get conservation easement money from them? Okay, through like Lee Ray McAllister? Or a different type of funding? Okay, that's okay. It's complicated, right? There's a lot that go into these, so.
What side of the Cub River are you on?
We're on the top of the hill,
On Regan's side? The same side as Regan or the other?
not on Regan's down on the corner, and we're up on 800, 1600.
do you wanna, can I suggest,
I was gonna give her my info to do
Okay.
maybe a pre-app for next month.
okay? So what Angie was suggesting is we can put you on our agenda for our next meeting if you wanna talk, specifics. In the meantime, she can give you information on the application, where to find it. I don't know if you've tried to look for it yet. Okay, so the county has a website and we have the application information there, and Angie can share where to find that application. You can take a look at it, and then if it's straightforward, you're welcome to go ahead and fill it out, or you can come back to our next meeting and ask any particular questions. You can introduce your property to us and that sort of thing, and we can talk about it, ahead of you putting a formal application in.
Well, you know, it just said and I tried to find that this morning, but I
Okay,
couldn't find it.
okay.
I couldn't find the application.
That's totally understandable. Sometimes it's not easy to find if you don't know where you're looking in particular, so.
And you can have a pre-application meeting without filling out an application.
Yeah, you can just come to a meeting just like this one, and we could talk about your project.
So this is my email, I'll just keep this on, and my phone number. So the next meeting is November 3rd, so if you wanna do a pre-app where you just kind of present your location and what you're thinking, we can get you on the agenda for that. If you could just get me parcel numbers and all that information before, or at least the Friday before, so I get the agenda out. And then this is the website you go to. The agenda is the application. Yeah, and you can always just go to Cache County and then just search Kozack in the search box and it'll bring it right.
Okay,
Okay.
appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Okay, and you're totally welcome to stay, it just may be rather boring.
Well, that would be really.
Some of the discussion might be helpful, just to
Sure.
see what you think. We're talking about, particularly the gateway project or properties into the county, which is just one of the criteria.
But you're looking for the east, you're doing the south end first.
Well,
No.
here we're gonna show both, yeah.
But it also said agriculture.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah, it's not just Gateway, yeah,
There's one piece that doesn't match Gateway that we've already approved, down the Cub River from you.
well, the Harris's property,
Harris property,
Harris's,
on the way to Richmond from where you're at.
trying to think,
Harris Farm, they're right across the river from Regan.
they're,
They're down a little bit, I think, south.
Right behind the Lee's Marketplace,
the Harris,
west side, west side of the Lee's.
don't, well, I don't know, they're not in our ward.
Okay, may not be.
But the Harrises that I know that owned a lot of land are the ones that sold that lease.
Same family, I think, just a different brother. The Harrises we're talking about are the ones right on the river, and they've submitted application to us that we've approved for funding, and I think they're just waiting for matching funding to come along. So, yeah.
So how's that gonna run?
How's what
What are you gonna do down there?
at the Harrises? We just help fund conservation easements on the property.
On the easements?
Uh-huh. Yep.
Okay, well, my husband would have been here, but he had another commitment, but we'll go home and we'll get this stuff. Back on
Great.
probably the 3rd.
Okay, that sounds great. We meet at least once a month, and if you can't make the 3rd, I'm sure we could let you know when the next opportunity is.
We'll see, but, there's a lot that, I know Lewiston tried to take 70 acres, put 400 homes
Oh, wow.
on, or 100 homes,
Yeah,
100 homes
yeah.
on it, and
Well, thanks for coming in.
Okay, well, thanks, I appreciate it.
Yep, likewise, we appreciate your time.
So, okay, well,
Let us know what questions you have.
I will. I don't really know what to ask, but I know enough that we don't want it into any
Good.
other than farm.
Good. Good. You came to the right place.
By the way, how many acres do you have?
160,
160.
and if they're all put together.
Uh-huh.
Great.
Great.
You can see the beautiful mountains and all the hires have all of the land that's east of ours. They're not gonna sell either.
Yeah.
And then across the street, you got Chris Karen. Hires, the other hires,
Yeah.
other than hires, but I think that Chris is the one that's starting to do the 3 acres,
Yeah.
so. But we're far enough away that I'm not gonna get too many. Anyway,
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Christine, are you, where's your dad? Gary? No.
He's not very out.
He used to come to the auction.
Oh, yeah. Carrie's a great uncle.
Okay, nice to meet you.
Go for it, Eric.
So, COSAC at Gateway and Vista Miller proposal, just put a, whether we use anything like this, I don't know, but, purpose would be to boost applications in key areas currently underrepresented. And I think that's probably the highlight is, like, we're getting applications, but we're not getting necessarily applications in these areas that score high in, Valley Gateway, Scenic Vistas, and agriculture. And we're proposing, just to get to the, cut to the chase on their 129 mailers. That's what it equates to.
You know, the 129 is related just to the gateway, though, right?
Just to the gateways. It's gateways and Vistas, it does have Vistas, and that's, I mean, that's why we're discussing it here before there, is it does have those Vistas that we talked about.
Word agriculture there might raise the question, why some ag and not other ag?
These are, and maybe that have agriculture or something like that. But these will score really high in agriculture, and Justin, you can weigh in on this. I think some of these, the same ones that are scoring well on this would also score extremely high on the agricultural side. Because I think they're in pretty fertile areas, but, except that, you know, this is a little different in the agriculture. This is more rangeland. This is finishing, looking for a finished kind of story to Sardine Canyon. The dry lake area in Sardine Canyon, kind of starting there. And then the other area would be the Sardine Canyon Valley entrance. And so here, the one picks up on one side of the Sherwood Hills, this picks up on the other side of the Sherwood Hills, as well as what you see as you enter the valley. The positive here is that there are some big congruent landowners that could make a difference. That's not the case in every location, but this is the case here. So Sardine Canyon be 8 additional landowners, Highway View Shed, and the Sardine Valley entry and overlook, we've identified 38 landowners. That includes the view shed with greater than 20 acres and landowners that potentially block the view shed. So there's a few smaller landowners that, you know, they'll have like
Immediately adjacent to the highway.
10 acres, but you're not gonna, you know, they put a big metal building on that, and
You lose your view.
yep.
Okay.
So then the other area, the Idaho border to Smithfield. Now this is a narrow swath that's shown there, but remember what we're looking at is if a landowner's there and they own land past that, you know, there's some 300-acre pieces in that top Idaho area that go well beyond that, but this is what I use to pick up what those are. And then also from Richmond to Smithfield, including the Smithfield, Richmond-Smithfield overlook, so that's a vista area as the North Gateway. And from Idaho to Richmond, it's 20 landowners with properties larger than 15 acres. Richmond to Smithfield, it's 19 landowners along the highway and 44 landowners in the viewshed properties with 20 acres or greater. As you look out to the west from the highway, which I think is one of the most stunning parts of that North Gateway as you come in. David Erickson is by far the largest of those landowners in that mix, and he's on the highway. So, and we have a Christensen that's coming in, is of course in that north one. Again, I use this swath to identify the properties, but those properties expand out. So her acreage goes beyond that. I mean,
But this will catch that
yeah, that catches the property. Then the Valley View entrance, this one is just the complicated one. I don't know that, we'd get landowners applying, but this is probably the least area. Again, the narrow swath is more to pick up everything from the highway out. It picks up quite a bit.
Is that narrow because of the banks on both sides?
Narrow because, well, mainly I'm catching what's which to the inside, but yeah, the view shed's not very, very expansive out there, either on that top side.
So it's narrow to make sure you're capturing the parcels that are immediately adjacent.
Immediately adjacent, and
Not
hopefully it's like
necessarily-
100 acres, right? But in reality, there's 44 owners in this very small area, properties, that's with property larger than 15.
Well, that says Idaho to Richmond.
Oh, whoops, thank you. I'll correct that.
Okay.
So this is Valley View entrance, and I think it's very difficult to have something meaningful in there, and I hate that because I think it's one that would be nice to be preserved, but there's hardly anything in there that's like, oh, that's a nice chunk.
Right. Yeah, a lot of smaller landowner
Yeah.
parcels.
Yep.
A lot of smaller parcels, lots of landowners.
Yeah, with not a lot being done on those parcels.
Yeah. It's a challenging area, I know, just from a planning commission standpoint. There's not much in the way of water out there. So there's a lot of dry land farming going on. But the highway goes through there, and I think even the Cache County master plan envisions the potential for a future sort of new town or new development kind of out that way. I don't know if those two things are in conflict, like water and then being able to do a new town, but that's part of the challenge I think that's facing that location.
If we look at the agriculture part of this, I think this is right here showing some very rich agricultural area. And probably a lot of developmental pressure, as well as this being pretty strong on an agricultural scale. So, I don't know how that looks. Then this kind of sums up the pieces that are highlighted all on one map.
So
That's handy.
using this, you've used that to help identify what parcels to include on the list.
Yeah.
So you've got a list of landowners and associated parcels, such that we could have the GIS team.
Oh, I already have them. They're
Okay.
out.
So the maps you have maps that show the parcels.
They can't, they have to be done one-on-one, one by one. If we were to pull them out and do this, it doesn't feed back that way. Yeah, we've got parcel numbers that could, but it's super hard because of the way it works that way.
Okay.
I did roll up when I identified these. I looked at the landowner as far as like if they had 100 acres in the swath here or that touched the swath.
Yeah,
I went to the master database from the of all the landowners, and I know that they have 360 acres, for example. Because sometimes there's a small portion here, but you know it would be a meaningful farm to preserve based on the total that they have.
yeah,
So that would be very, very, very hard. I mean, I start highlighting, just manually go through and try to crunch that out, but.
no, I'm thinking this is a task for the GIS people to do. Like you give them the
I
Excel
could go back.
spreadsheets.
I could go back to Carrie, but that came from a conversation with Carrie.
Yeah,
Because I was like, because I can highlight those. I can highlight a property by the
Right.
landowner. I can highlight a property by the
right.
parcel number.
But that shouldn't be that
And I
difficult.
said, can I dump a bunch in there? And he's like, we're limited. Like, it doesn't just take that dump. But I'm glad to go and ask Carrie again. So you're saying you'd rather see all this with the properties highlighted rather than,
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's just what I'm used to is, it's gonna be a parcel-based map that goes around the boundaries of those parcels or whatever.
and
I
that's
don't know that
pretty,
it has to be that way, that's just the way I think.
that's pretty easy to do if it was a small amount, but for 129 parcels, that's where we get.
Yeah, but we're talking about like a day's worth of work. This is not a massive undertaking or
And
anything
maybe
like
we
that.
could start with one of your areas and look at that one individually with those 22 parcels that are highlighted so we can see
Yeah.
how it kind of fits in.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I'm following the discussion. This map shows partial, I mean, those boundaries are partial boundaries.
No.
The landowners who own land there might own land adjacent to that,
Yeah,
that's not
mhm.
highlighted.
Yes.
And are you
This
asking
is
that
just
that
a,
be
this
included?
is just a polygon that is overlaid onto a parcel map to capture all the parcels within that polygon. It's not a boundary of those parcels though, if that makes sense, so.
Do we need that at this stage?
And that's what I'm suggesting, or asking is, I'm not necessarily saying we need that, that's just usually what I would expect to see. I could see council members asking for that, but I don't, maybe I'm
If you have the
speculating.
name, you have the mailing address.
Right,
I guess at this stage, I wouldn't be looking for that, but
yeah,
you do this every day, so you.
no, and that's fine, others may not be looking for that
It-
either, I
it-
may just be,
It may be a little messy viewing it like this right here. But zoomed in, it would probably be not quite as bad. It'd be interesting to see, like, start chunking it out and just see what it's gonna look like. Whether you can identify it this easy, because we still want it to look kinda like this, right?
yeah, ultimately it's gonna look like that, but there'll be a higher level of accuracy on it.
Right.
Especially on this, you can tell it's,
Yeah.
it's
We
an
would know.
approximation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't want people to start saying, "Oh, well, why did you bend the line that way instead of?"
Yeah.
Or, and again, maybe I'm
Yeah,
sort of
and-
taking this a little too far, and it's not an issue or whatever. So I'm totally fine. I think, especially the overview that shows all of them and everything. I mean, it's getting at what we're trying to do, and hopefully, folks won't get hung up on particulars like I might be.
maybe just make clear that it's an approximation.
Yeah,
So they-
yeah, we make clear, like, I could start making a pass at it, or talk to Carrie again, saying, okay. And I do think it would actually be cycling around, because either I'm grabbing the parcels just here, So if I go and say, okay, the landowner has to here, then I either have to get all of his parcels or none of his parcels, right? And that may include a bunch of parcels adjacent to this, but also 2 pieces over here or something like that, which may either would then have to like then filter those back out, because I kind of have all or nothing, access to all or nothing from the parcel viewer master list. So I just went and said, okay, if they're in there, just do a V lookup and look at how much they have total.
Yeah.
So I know from it goes from 160 touching this to 337. I don't know how it goes from that.
So if I were at my office and this was a project we were working on, I would literally take that list you have and give it to our GIS person and say, make maps for each of these general areas that include those parcels. Only those parcels, not beyond, or something like that. And so, but maybe it's more tedious than I understand.
Or what he has as the license, because he was saying something about the license.
That could
if they don't regularly grab an area, and I was trying to do a dump, like a dump of everything, and out, not in, but out, and he said, and it only went to 800 parcels, and he's like, oh yeah, that's right, our license is limited on what we can put into it, so.
Okay.
I think it's interesting when you look at the whole valley, that there's only 129, which is probably good news as far as focusing.
Yeah, when we look at that, now given, there's a bunch of 5-acre landowners in that mix that are excluded from this, and 10-acre landowners that are excluded from that list. I think it's a little misleading and would create a lot of work for us if all of those 5-acre landowners got this and they came in looking for $150,000 or something.
Right.
Yeah. Let me ask a question to the council, just for my own clarification. Do we have any reason to try and prioritize a certain one of these, 5 areas based on a number of different criteria, like traffic counts for one thing? Like, do we want to focus first on the Valley Gateway because
The South Valley, Sardine Canyon Gateway, because of traffic numbers?
Yeah. Do we have any?
It's also the one that we're getting nothing on.
Yeah.
We did, our first project is that South Gateway, right, Sardine Canyon. But there's a whole lot there that's disappearing really, really fast.
Yeah,
And
I think my response to your question would be, it's a challenge. I would be hesitant, just me personally, to prioritize one or the other. I could totally understand why the South Valley or Sardine would be a priority just based on traffic volumes, right? The number of people that see it, right? It's also going to be the most expensive of any of the other categories probably too. And so your dollars won't go as far potentially.
Yeah.
Whereas up there at the Idaho border, there's granted less pressure, less traffic, so on and so forth, but your dollars are probably going to go a lot further so I would say, to me, it's whoever wants to apply, because not everybody's going to apply, not everybody's going to be interested in this program, and thus far we've had a handful of applications really to speak of, and I'd rather see 100 applications, and it's great if they're in the South Valley portion, but I wouldn't dismiss any of those other areas as for funding.
If all $20 million we get basically Furman's and everything in that north area, I'd be really sad, because I think it's going to come down in the south area where it's the equivalent of what Debbie said, where they got the Provo piece, it's 20 acres, and they're spending X, some property that we really need to be concerned with, not wait till for it to become a Sherwood Hills issue.
Yeah, I think that's the answer we've been given. If there is, we'll take care of it.
Well, maybe we, what is that next property that could
Right.
be highly concerning? Because that would be, that's actually it's easier to shoot that with a rifle than with a shotgun.
Yeah,
I think as far as priority, we have to prioritize at some point. I don't know that we have to at this time to cut down 129 letters to 50 or something.
right.
I don't see the harm of sending it out more generally and seeing what's out there. And I think each application we prioritize when they come in, so.
To give you a perspective, I had, when I first came in, they had me do a needs assessment. I sent out 600 letters.
Right.
I got a response of 160.
Right.
What were they responding to?
Needs assessment, what needs were in the county for extension to focus in on. So that's the letter I sent out, and with a survey of 600, I
Right.
got 160.
Right.
But so you're looking at 120, so that tells you you're looking at 20%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
We'd
think the
love
numbers would be
20%.
low. And I think, wherever we can accomplish a good project is a good thing, because it at least gets something started. If it's in different geographic areas, I say that that's fine, because it gets things started. And I always have a long-term vision, like I hope this isn't the only $20 million bond that's gonna, in years down the road, maybe there's another funding opportunity or something like that. So that's why I don't, I'm not as concerned maybe about focusing on one particular area.
Just while we're looking at the big map there, for my coworker, I promised I'd bring it up. He lives in Clarkston. There is a plan to, I guess, pave or to widen the short divide to be a shortcut from the freeway into the valley. So looking forward, at some point, there might be another little gateway thing up there. As you come over the hill, you see the valley from a different perspective. I don't know the timing on that.
Anything in planning on that?
That would be more of a public works question, but I'm not aware of anything that's formal.
And there are cabins, larger acreage type cabins being planned for, the foothills up there. And
Yeah.
at some point, there might be another box up there.
Yeah. Yep.
I only have one other thing on here, and this is, I've got a bunch of, this came from one of those sources, right? And they have a bunch, but I had, let me see if I can find it here. They have a bunch of sample slides, and I just threw some stuff in, but, it's down here. My numbers were slightly different for Elkhorn, so we might want to just reconcile that really quick.
Yeah, I just grabbed whatever the first reference was off the internet, threw numbers in there. That's why I kept it at percentages.
Okay.
And I didn't have confidence in the accuracy.
Okay. These are numbers for Elkhorn that I got from Gabe.
Okay.
And the only thing on this is 1,300 of it went to pay. It is earmarked to pay for appraisal and other costs of the county money. So, I mean, and I'm fine with just going with what you've got and letting people do their math.
Well, but if they're not accurate, I think
What?
we should make them accurate, because I'm not vouching for their accuracy. Like I said, it was like pre-applications and just to get a rough number out there.
Well, pre-application, the pre-application.
Well, it was actually the round 2 funding, I think,
Okay.
but I don't know what the final was in every case.
Okay.
And it's
Yeah.
from news reports and things like that.
This one I think is more because it came from Gabe.
Yeah,
It's what he had on his worksheets.
it probably is more accurate.
I do like, what I really like about the two examples is they range from 10, I think that yours came out to 35, so I'm not quite sure this, instead of 30, it came out to 35.
Yeah, yeah.
Per acre?
I think that was from a news report, I'm not sure.
And,
We should use the right number there, the 30,000, that'd be fine.
yeah, and I love the range of 10 to 30,000, kind of gives someone a, like, okay, it could be lower and it could be higher, and at least this number will kind of work with, I think this number, well, number one, these count on that you're gonna get state and federal money,
Yeah.
no matter what. But, and did Harris's get approved for the state money? I don't know that for sure.
Now, this doesn't show the landowner contribution.
That's right.
No, and the landowner contribution, the landowner's not getting. So if that's the difference,
Yeah,
yeah,
that is
he's
the
not getting
difference.
that.
That might be it.
Yeah,
Good catch.
yep. I was trying to show what the landowner's receiving,
Yeah.
not giving up. So. And then the big story here is they still get to farm it, right?
Mhm.
After they get that.
It's still their property. They
Now,
can buy and sell
one
it.
thing I learned was, this may be taxed as ordinary income instead of long-term capital gains. Anyone know that?
I don't.
Like, that's a monster.
Oh, because you're not selling the capital, you're just selling,
To me, it's
a
capital, and that's why a lot of people were confused. In fact, I was talking to my accountant on it, which he wasn't totally certain, but he's like, there's something that didn't make sense about these. And he's like, I think it's because it looks like a long-term capital gain.
yeah,
But
definitely affects the value of the capital. I mean,
yeah.
So when you sell the
you're
land-
selling,
when you sell the land, you're gonna get 10,000 an acre, you have zero capital gain.
but think about that difference between a 20 and a 37%.
Yeah,
Yeah,
big difference.
yeah.
But that's where that contribution that they're making can really be valuable in terms of wiping out part of that pretty quick.
Is your idea to basically refine this if you need to, whatever, and then this is what we would take to the council as a presentation?
That was what I
you know,
thought I was
kinda-
asked for
Yeah,
last time,
yeah.
is spot of
Yeah.
each map, how many
Yeah.
went. And the only one I struggle with, I mean, it's hard to say we don't put it on there, is that Valley View is, if we got a bunch of those, I mean, they're really weird pieces, and it'd be,
Yeah. They probably won't, look that great.
What's
They come
unique about the Valley View entrance is it's a fairly steep road going down, and the whole valley is open to view, and it would take some pretty high buildings to wipe out that view entirely.
it's true.
Yeah.
It's not angled, you're kind of dead on it, whereas the other one is angled as you come into,
So what Keegan asked for, recommended was include the methodology, the quantity, and the estimated cost.
really,
I
so you
think
got,
that addresses it, not the
I think-
cost
Not
necessarily,
necessarily
but
cost, but yeah.
but it's basically saying peanuts, right?
Yeah, it is. And you could say that.
They
You
can
could
do
say, we think this is gonna be less than $500 or whatever you think it is.
Yeah, more in time, but it's not gonna cost more than $129 to print it, put it in envelopes and send it out.
Right?
plus staff time.
Yeah, it's really gonna be that.
Yeah. Would we want to include that overview
And the thing
map?
is I could do all the merge, so all it is
Yeah.
printing, right?
Yeah. Would we want to include that overview map with the letter to give a visual of what we're talking about?
Could be.
I kinda like that idea,
And they look at it and they're like, oh,
yeah.
We'd have to disclose that this is an approximation. It's not exact, don't look for your exact property.
here's the one thing I like about it, as you mentioned it, Claire, is that these are easy things to get thrown in the garbage. And it's almost that little piece that you spend a little bit more, like if you open it up and you get a map and you're like looking at it and you're like, oh, I'm in this yellow area, what does that mean?
Yeah, that's true. Marketing.
Yeah, it's more of a marketing side.
How would you feel about like just a very simplified map where it's not quite as detailed as yours, but just kind of shows, you know,
Like a
a circle. Here's the South Gateway, here's Manaway,
Sure.
here's Idaho border, you know. And then doesn't come across as like we're trying to
Yeah,
be exact.
probably better.
More generic-ish.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
But still, like,
But it
I'm
could-
in the
you
circle.
Could, you could call it out, you know, you could say, you could label each of the nodes, you know.
Just do a real rough.
More marketing style than
Correct.
accuracy style.
Yes.
Venn diagram.
Yeah, circles and ovals maybe.
Yeah, they're kind of ovally shaped.
Yeah.
Seems like this is going in a good direction, so.
By the way, that if you look, that Hiram piece, the piece really takes in that Hiram piece we were talking about, that Hiram Nibley piece.
Oh,
So that does come into that a little bit there.
that one was really wide. Is that because they're large parcels in there?
Yeah, there's like 5M owns like a ton of that, but I also, because it was a recurring theme kind of with this group, is that you can see it from up there, but it's really important for people Hiram to Nibley to have that vista back out from their area to the wells field. So. And by the way, there's a full-size metal building on one of these parcels now.
Yes,
Since the beginning of our conversations.
I've seen it.
They
So-
will eventually all have them. We live long enough, if you live long enough.
So next steps on this, would it be to, where did we leave things with Keegan, that we would sort of get these, presentations and
Letter.
deliverables kind of put together, and then, maybe at our next meeting in 2 weeks, assuming he can be here or whatever, we could go over the final versions of them and just say, we're ready to meet with the council, let's get on
I
their
thought that's what we
agenda.
were doing today.
Yeah, could we get
Maybe
this
so.
so we're just going from here to presentation?
Yeah.
What do you think, Angie?
Are we on agenda at all?
Not yet, I haven't put in the request, so the next available county council meetings would be November 4th or the 18th. So yeah, just depending on your schedule. Typically, I have to put in the agenda request item a week before with the packet materials.
Yeah.
I think that's why we did the interim meeting, is we can just vote. If it's approved, then
Yeah.
it goes to the council, they do what they wanna do.
Yeah.
Because we can fix this to meet. Like, we can take the input from the group and finish it offline
I agree.
and still be ready to present.
You could
Sure.
probably
Without
change-
another letter.
You could change your slides the day before.
Right.
The form is not fixed, I don't think.
As long as we're in agreement with, like,
Yeah.
these are the changes, it's approved at that level,
Yeah, I think so.
so.
Yeah, I
So-
don't know if you wanna run it through Keegan first, just as a courtesy, or. if you
Sure,
just get-
yeah, and he'd be easy to do, like, one of us could run it through Keegan, no problem. I think that's a good idea.
I don't think we'd have to do that before we vote. I mean.
No,
our vote is our
I'm
vote.
just saying, like,
Yeah.
we include that in what we're
Yeah,
agreeing to do.
This is
Yeah.
what we're recommending to
Definitely.
the council.
yeah.
Put us
And
on the
then-
agenda.
We don't
Please.
approve every slide. I mean, you've given presentations.
Yes.
and We haven't approved every detail of it, and we
Yeah.
don't need to.
Yeah. And, I mean, it could be simplified also to that main overview map. And here's how it breaks down
I
our
really-
parcel.
I don't, I'm more skeptical about the example stuff, needing to go over that with the council.
No, I
But
just,
the
for me, that was to come in here.
Right.
It wasn't a slide that I
So
wanted.
I thought overall the presentation makes sense, right? If you start out, we're talking about the gateway areas, and then zoom into each one, a slide for each one. This is how many landowners, this is kind of the criteria we're looking at, that sort of thing. I thought it was very good for that, and I wouldn't have any significant changes to what you've provided.
I think the only potential is like, is there enough minutia here that they get into the minutia? And we get
I thought it was
lost.
very simple.
Right.
I thought it was good.
Straightforward,
Yeah.
yeah. It's a little shorter than I thought, and I think it covers everything it needs to.
Yeah.
And I'd be fine, approving a motion to say, this is the overall outline, and you.
Make a
you
few
two
corrections.
You two work together to fix typos or whatever.
Okay. That sounds good. All right. Well,
I would say on the letter, I think
let's work on the letter now and then maybe do everything together. Does that sound okay to you, Claire?
on the letter, and the reason I brought that up is I wonder if it looked a little easier in a table type format. I think this is fine. Even if we left this, I'd be totally okay with it. The only, the landowner contribution is the only thing. It's like, do we, is it unclear of what they're actually getting with the landowner contribution?
I thought it was helpful to mention that that it is a part, might raise a question of what's that, and then we could answer the question.
So we're kind of intentionally raising a question there. I don't think that's bad at all.
Because as soon as they come in, we say, we're kind of gonna expect you to participate. So
Yeah.
this brings that up.
But they also see that they're getting 30% from here,
Yeah.
48 here, 6%. Like it's a variety of sources.
It's a variety of sources. I mean,
Yeah, that was
my-
the point of it, the variety.
my hesitation would only be, sort of showing like a 15% landowner contribution and that being like the low bar.
It is a low.
Wanting-
It is a
wanting
low bar.
Yeah.
Folks to
Yeah.
consider more and hopefully.
And we
more
could
will.
leave out the percents entirely, maybe that's too much information, and just point out, total, with these participants, and just list them without percentages.
Do you take out the landowner contribution and reduce
I
the?
wouldn't.
Okay.
I think if you're gonna have a breakdown, including the landowner contributions, important
Yes.
to show that there is a contribution expected there.
Wait,
Ultimately,
he's
I
talk-
don't,
you're saying take out the percentages though?
no, I'm okay with them. I was just making
is
a
gonna
counter argument to the
It's gonna
perspective.
set an expectation.
I think that's the question.
That's
Are
the
we
word.
setting any expectations with any of
Because
this?
even though the per acre values are very different, the percentages on those two happen to come out about the same. They might think that's the way it is.
Yeah,
And where a lot of times it's more of like a 25% is expected,
It could be,
and
Yeah.
the state's not gonna show up.
yeah.
right.
Yeah. So maybe the percentages are not as important for
But if
this
you
letter.
take them out, that's where I'm just like, is our message still, like, what does it look like if we take it out?
Take out just the percentages, or
I don't know, what are you
The funders.
suggesting take out?
I guess at this point, I would probably delete the percentage figures and leave the, contributors.
The contribute, yeah, I would leave that too. Cause you wanna know that it's divided up, but.
Yeah,
Does that imply that it's like, well, is that am I paying 50% or,
leaves it open.
okay.
You could, rearrange them so that your highest
Right.
percentages are first out.
I kind of like that idea.
I wondered about that too.
I don't mind showing the breakdown. I guess I would start with the question of why do we want to provide examples? Is it, because I think we have a good reasons to provide the examples, right? We want to help people understand that the open space bond is not the only funding source, like there's
Yep.
we need, and that successful. We've already done a couple of, approved a couple of projects.
And that that the number can be meaningful per acre. I think we want to, meaningful enough that you would consider this.
You might wanna just add a statement that this isn't always how it shakes out.
It's kind of marketing too. If you see an ad for a new car, you think, that's a great new car. But if you don't know the price range, you don't know how seriously to take the ad.
Yeah.
All you need is the range. Is this a high end, a low end, somewhere in the middle? I think that's about all we have to communicate at this point. I don't think we need too many specifics.
But I like the numbers that you do have in here. And I'm fine taking the percentages out. Because what I'm doing, if I get this, is I'm putting in 4.1 million divided by 115.
Yeah.
And then I'm matching it to my property, and then I'm doing the Harris property,
Yeah.
and
And then, and I don't know if it comes out enough in this, this is the value of the conservation easement. It's not the value of the property, which could be higher. So I
well,
worry that they
do
would
we
do that.
say, and they are continuing to farm this property?
Yeah. Or just in the line above that, examples of approved conservation easements, which is some fraction of the total value of the property or something like that. I don't know, just to communicate their because when they do that math, they come up with 10,000 an acre, they might think, well, my property was appraised at 12. You know, well, you keep the 2 and we pay you the 10. But that might not be clear.
But if they understand that they can continue to
Yeah.
farm it,
Yeah.
that
And they still
kind of
get that.
answers that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Below are 2 examples of approved conservation easements,
So I have
and the landowner is continuing to farm the
I
property.
have issues with that wording there, I did make note of. It just sort of dawned on me while we were here. What we should probably say is, instead of saying approved conservation easements, because they haven't been approved yet, technically, maybe we say below are 2 examples of projects that have been approved for funding. Better way of saying that, I think.
Mhm.
Okay.
Various states.
Correct. Yeah, I still like the examples. I think overall they're, they're more helpful than hurtful. I like the idea of ordering them in largest to smallest percentages, just to,
I like the cash value, the bond being in there first more because that's what we're saying, but I don't care that much. You're gonna have this, are you gonna put landowner contribution before state? It kind of looked a little,
I think that's okay. But
What's your all feeling on having the percentage number in there or not having it? Take it
I like it. Again, I'm sort of, we've talked around all of the issues, but I think for me, it's, the way we've presented it is still more favorable than maybe, taking it out. I think the benefits still outweigh the
to leave it in.
drawbacks,
That
to
level
leave,
of
to leave
detail.
that detail in there.
Well,
If the point is to try to get across multiple contributions, including landowner, that sort of
Does
thing.
anybody feel strongly?
I just think we
otherwise?
were benchmarking it quite low, and I think the only reason it worked for us was the state was coming in with the Lee Ray McAllister money. I think a more normal number that I've heard, like from Gabe and others, is 25%.
For landowner?
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
and so we're earmarking it super low here, and
We could just say, leave out 15% and just say plus landowner contribution.
yeah,
I think that would
Then
be
we
the
avoid
clearest.
that
Then they're not,
pitfall.
yeah.
They can do the math, I guess, but.
So, not to change subject, but just before I forget, on the sentence where it says, participant space values, what if we add just after preserve your lands for agriculture production and open space values?
That is, let's see,
It's the paragraph starts a conservation easement.
so rather than just saying open space values, we're gonna specify, What they
Agriculture
are.
first and then open space.
okay, that's fine.
That would,
Where am I looking in that?
the second to last sentence that says participation.
Offers compensation for preserving your lands,
Agriculture.
agricultural, yes, I like that.
And then.
And open space,
space easement is the values of the,
yeah.
that
Maybe-
includes your production that you're telling it, that's what you want is agricultural production. And then
It's not just,
Because they're valuing farming.
it's not just vacant, unused, fallow, open space, it's,
Yes.
yeah, yeah.
I
capture that correctly?
agriculture production.
is it going to be agriculture production in every case though?
No, and if Kendra were here, she would be saying, yeah, it's not just about agriculture, but I think in these gateway areas, it really is. That's,
Except for those homes on, setting on 10 acres as you come into the valley that would block the,
And then those may be still natural resource.
But then
I
I
mean, you can still
personally,
add that as agricultural, natural resource.
okay, I would like that. I wouldn't like to just say we're only interested in properties where farming will continue. You know, you notice in that same sentence above, it says continue current uses. We could specify agriculture there, or if we're gonna say preserving your land's open space, agricultural, and just make sure that it's not a box for only agricultural uses.
Those, natural resources end up being, rangeland, which then switches over to range production, so we're still talking agriculture. But it is, they usually put that together in that agriculture and natural resources. So that could be a slick way of having that together.
and these are all greenbelt properties, right?
It goes back to the using the word preserve too. If there's no ag value there, you're preserving whatever is or is not there.
Which we don't know how it's gonna score until we know what else you're offering besides agriculture. Slightly off topic, is Pacific Core's all, that entire, everything in conservation easement? Cause we certainly don't show that on any maps of conservation easements.
they're saying their land is,
Yeah, well,
Conservation easement?
they're marked with all of Cutler Marsh and all that
Oh.
is under there, like, shows as their property.
right, that's true.
Is that conservation easement or
No.
what? No.
No,
So
they've got,
they
the
have some.
property that Bear River Land Conservancy manages,
That one is.
yes, but that's not on the, that's further north. It's kind of mitigation property, I think. That's why it has an easement on it, but that is Rocky Mountain Power property.
So they really have the ability to
Around the
develop
reservoir,
around Benson.
yeah, they could do all of that stuff. But I've never heard them be interested in that.
I mean to ask on the original bond, did it specifically say just trails, or was there open space for, hunting rights too?
That'd be under the wildlife. The wildlife is specified as one of the 5 elements. Waterways and wildlife.
So I was wondering about, ask you guys if that was in there for public lands for access to.
Someone could definitely make a case with the wildlife part. I would.
Sometimes we hyper-focus in on trails, and I've always been wondering, like, hunting. And so,
Regan's brought up creating access to the Bear River.
yeah,
so people can get on and off, yeah.
While you're formatting there, at some point in moving from Word to the email, on the two examples, the second line didn't get tabbed over. Indented.
I'll put a general comment about format.
And it was on the original, so the second line was indented as well.
Did a quick cut and paste job before I walked over here, so.
I personally, I'm looking at this again, preserving your land's open space values. You know, above we've mentioned what the 5 open space values may be. So I don't know, personally, I don't know if we need to identify just 1 or 2 of all of those values that we're trying to preserve.
Maybe open space values is too vague, but maybe we refer back to what was written above in some way. Preserve the values as outlined above or something.
See, that would make sense to me. Because yeah, I know that there's a lot of agriculture in these lands, but, you know, some of them just may be wildlife habitat, which may
Right.
tie into agriculture, but some of them are just to preserve open lands. You know, near the canyon, those lands are, you know, forested areas.
There's not a lot of forested though in our,
These
in these.
Should
I
we
think.
say open space? So what were you suggesting? It says like open space values as outlined
above.
above,
As listed above.
or as outlined in the bond language,
They won't know what that is.
Yeah,
Okay. as outlined above.
You know, I'm thinking of more of the lands in the Sard, the lake area that you had up there. You know, some of that's agriculture, some of that's, you know, open land, rangeland, etc. But some of it just might be preserved as open space without. I just don't want to focus on agriculture specifically there.
I would say leave it like it is then.
That's what I would support. We had mentioned continuing the current uses, and a guy that's farming will,
his,
know
his
exactly
current
what that
uses is farming.
yeah.
What if we said preserving your land's multiple open space values?
Yeah, the one thing you want to be a little careful with the whole term open space is, does that mean I'm opening it to the public?
Yeah, that's what I keep getting asked.
Peep.
Guys are thinking you want full access and you wanna forcefully say somehow you can continue doing what you're doing.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we're stuck. Because I've visited multiple, or a guy that's up in that area you're talking about in Sardine Canyon. And he's developing it for range for beef cattle. So he's bringing in beef cattle,
Who's this?
lawn.
What's the landowner name? But almost every, Thomas?
Yep, he owns, he's at the top, the gated, right across from the state sheds. So all of that up against, right up to it, that's, he's developing it right now for rangelands.
And that's not Stone Mountain. Is it in,
He's the other side.
oh, he's not in our,
That house that sits way.
he's
back in the
Weaver?
back. Huh?
Is he in Weaver?
No. He's right at the top before it switches to box.
Does
Usually
Stone-
has permits through Box Elder, because
Is
we
it
wouldn't,
box?
we
Because some
wouldn't
of it-
rezone the property to A10 to allow him to live there. So he somehow found a way to build in Box Elder. Yeah, part of his.
Cause it straddles.
Stone Mountain? Is that the name on it? No, it's not.
I don't think so.
His goes clear down into the sea, dry lake. In fact, it takes in Sardine
this, the reason I put that sentence in there was to focus on the compensation.
Yeah.
Again, what comes after that maybe should just be shorter. Participation offers compensation for, well, or this opportunity offers compensation for your participating in whatever follows those words. Without, I think you're right, maybe open space is a word of art that we understand, but
Well, the whole
somebody
thing
might-
is,
What if it's just
Not like it.
participation offers compensation for preserving your land?
I like that, because open space, I mean, it's the open space bond.
yeah, yeah,
Participation offers compensation for preserving your land.
doesn't need to be there.
Yeah,
I mean, for her, that was in here. Yeah, preserving my land, that's
Yeah.
what I'm here for, period.
I like that.
I like that 100%. That
That
solves
makes it shorter too.
some problems.
Similarly, Kendra had shared some feedback on the previous iteration before you sent it out. I don't think you've seen that because she sent it to me and Eric, and so this is a newer version. But one of her questions was in regard to the next sentence. So Cache County seeks to match funds with state, federal, and private sources to maximize available funding. She was just concerned with the wording there, that it makes it sound like the county is gonna help find the matches for you. And so,
I wondered that myself.
yeah.
Yeah, we're not assuming that burden.
I would
We're just turning it on them.
How about we say Cache County seeks projects that will match
that will
funds?
seek to match. Or we encourage you to match funds.
Yeah,
Seeks
Well, that's not-
projects that will,
I think we ought to change that in some way. I agree.
Really, we're gonna introduce them, and I don't wanna get into this, but really, we're gonna match them up with the land conservation group at some point. So
Yeah.
I think just saying Cache County seeks projects.
Yeah,
Or there are often matching funds available that can maximize available funding. Leave the word Cache County out of it. Part of what we're doing is an antidote to the prior letter that went out that only focused on a small amount. And we're saying, well, there's more than that available.
And this may cover that below. You might get that same answer as you go further without that sentence there.
I think a little bit of education here is a good thing. Just there are often state, federal, and private sources available to maximize funding.
State, federal, and private sources.
This sentence could go in the next paragraph after the words unique property, since we're already talking about funding there.
Mhm.
And then
I
there-
like that
you
move.
immediately follow with the examples.
Below are 2 examples of projects that have been for funding.
And you might want to swap the wording too, instead of starting with state, because we know the large proportion of state done federal, state, and
Yes.
How about below are 2 examples of approved conservation easements that included federal and state funding?
Matching.
They weren't matching us. They weren't matching us. They were doing their own thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Matching, I think, is a little misleading.
Okay.
I mean, really, they weren't matching us, we weren't matching them, we were just
How about the word added that included additional on top of the open space?
below are 2 examples of approved conservation easements.
put those included funds from federal, state, county, private.
If I'm a property owner and I'm looking and I'm reading about this, I may not know that there are available state, federal, and private sources. And so just to include it in the example without explanation of why it's there or how it gets there.
I think it's important that we highlight
I like
that there's more
leaving
funds
it
available.
in that same paragraph, it seems to fit there, but maybe just.
Where you're at, right, where it's at right now.
Maybe remove Cache County, cause we're talking about the participation offers compensation for preserving your land, and then right there say, there may be funds, or there may be funds available, take out the word match. State, federal, and private sources, or federal, state programs may be available to maximize funding. And in
Could we
my
say
mind-
often state, federal, and private sources help to maximize, funding?
Or potentially, instead of often,
It's usually often.
is it? See, that would
Like if you look, the only deal that hasn't been done with other money was Smithfield.
then as a property owner, my light bulb comes on and says, oh, just, instead of just this small open space bond, there are other ways.
Yeah.
And then the
In fact, it's
examples,
the majority.
the
in most
examples
cases.
bear that out, bear what we've explained to them in a single
Yeah.
sentence.
I like that.
By the way, I just shared this document. I'm not keeping up very well with all of your different.
Well, we haven't, like,
So, yeah, I just shared it, so, yeah, it's more easier to make those changes or suggestions in
Google Docs.
I have a suggestion maybe on the wording for that sentence. Let me throw this out at y'all. I kind of like the idea of shifting it down to that next paragraph to follow unique property, and then we would say, Cache County seeks projects that would also seek, and we could fix saying it twice, but that would also pursue,
With those look and seek.
that would also pursue funds from federal, state, and private sources to maximize available funding.
That works for me.
Did you catch that, Angie?
Yeah, I believe
Cache County
so.
seeks
Cache
project
County seeks
that will
projects that will
Also pursue funds.
Federal, state, can you switch those?
you want from federal, state, or
From,
Federal and private sources.
state, and private.
From federal, state, and private sources to maximize available.
Like it.
Then below are two examples of projects.
Is project complicated?
Can I suggest the wording on that next line too? Go ahead and put your space after the period there. Can we say below are two examples of projects that have been,
That have preliminary
that have
approval?
been approved for funding? Yeah.
Would we wanna change the word to properties instead of projects here?
Yeah,
We're talking projects, and I think all of a sudden I'm like, I may be a little confused, especially where you're like, Cache County
Properties is-
seeks projects that will also pursue funds. I'm all of a sudden like, you're offering me money, and now I'm like, what am I? I don't know. I'm a little,
Property is more personal.
yeah,
at least on the second one,
yes,
properties that have.
yes.
Yeah, there you go.
It's more, layman kind of a word.
You want that one changed also to properties?
Or maybe landowners that will also pursue funds. But projects works there.
Yeah.
Proposals.
Oh, I love proposals.
I think I'm getting a little.
That's a good idea.
I think
Proposals.
Yeah, proposals. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But what if I've got that little 10-acre piece, and now all of a sudden I'm reading this, and it's like, they're looking for proposals that are looking for, they want me to go get federal, state, and private sources. Wait, I've got to go and find private sources? What am I expected to do here?
Yeah,
I mean,
That's a concern.
you tell the Neves lady that she's gotta go find private sources for funding.
I think the purpose of this is to tell them that those are available, not to say that we are
That's not
limiting-
what we're saying, though. We're saying we want you
It just
to,
says we're limiting it somehow.
Yeah.
Or we're putting a burden on you, but what we want to
and
communicate
I
is
think
that
Donna
they're
Neves is
available.
like,
Yeah,
I think
This-
that's the point, is that there's other funding available,
mm-hmm,
and we leave it.
Just
as
let 'em
simple
know.
as that.
in addition to Cache County,
There may be,
your property may qualify for federal, state, or private sources. That's what we're trying to tell people.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
But the private is their contribution, right?
Sometimes.
Sometimes, but that's right. To me, that's what I'm thinking, the private is the individual. What are they gonna bring to the table?
Well, maybe we don't mention the private sources part, because I think that's in rare cases, right?
Yeah, the one I keep thinking is the land conservancy district. Is the other one, because they're gonna help them find that, but yeah, the private
Like-
sources.
The private sources may also include, nonprofits that are willing to step in too,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a private
So
source.
would we change and to or private?
And are we saying your property may also qualify for federal, state, or private funding,
Is it always or?
and private funding? I think it's
Or
and.
or.
You see what we're saying there? That our message is more your property may qualify for additional funding besides what we're contributing, not that if you're not willing to do this, we don't want you to come to us.
Would you just put Cache County also seeks proposals that will pursue funds from federal, state, and private sources?
I just say we say there's this additional source, that's what we're,
maybe we leave the word Cache County out and start with a more general sentence.
Would it be Cache County or Cache County Open Space?
Cache open space.
I think we're really just saying there are other funds available. We take cash.
our examples show that.
And that's why you have the examples there, because it shows where, and if you do the percentages, it shows you where they got those funds.
Well, the sentence before that, funding amounts vary for each unique property, and there are often other sources available, other federal, state, and private sources to maximize
Yeah.
funding.
Yep.
And I like the word often, like Eric said, it's happening more often than people know.
Mhm.
There are often other funds available from federal,
Yeah.
state, and private sources to maximize available funding.
Yeah. I think that's the point of what we're
Yeah,
telling you.
yeah. Below are two examples of properties approved for funding, and they show the breakdown.
Do we wanna cut that sentence in half? Funding amounts vary for each unique property, period. There are often other funds available, or keep it in one sentence? Cause it works either way.
Either way.
It's a little bit long,
But not terribly.
okay?
I like it like that. I think we don't have to split it.
How about replacing other funds with additional funds, so that we're adding to?
Additional,
Yeah,
yep.
I had just a couple smaller notes at the top where it's the addressee, dear Cache County property owner, or use property owner's name if possible. I think we wanna personalize this so it doesn't get thrown in the trash.
Yeah,
So we say, use property owner's name, not or use. We just say, use property owner's name if possible.
That's our recommendation.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
we say that before dear Cache County property owner.
Or leave that out.
Yeah.
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 I
Why don't you just put deer and then delete Cache County property owner
Yep,
Yeah, I agree.
and make it.
And-
If
And
we
delete
know
or-
that we
and
can
delete or.
merge,
Keep it in brackets, so we know that we're
Yeah.
gonna
Dear-
assign, we're
it's
gonna
a mail
personalize.
merge.
Yeah. And then secondly, the
Use
first
property
paragraph,
owner's name. Yep.
how they can preserve, et cetera, and still meet their family's financial goals. Is how, I mean, I know the majority will go to the family landowners, but will it always?
A ton of these landowners are organizations.
So,
And I don't know how that works, but if you look at the 5M ranches,
yeah,
big one.
these are corporations and not necessarily families.
So we just say your goals, or meet their goals?
Let's leave the family in, because I think so many of these are like, that's
Inheritance.
the hook that we're, like, that, oh, my family, I can pass something to my family. And then the corporations would have to figure it out.
The corporations aren't gonna be as interested as a
Corporations
family.
won't be, and the ones that are sitting on land for speculation. Because they'll be your small pieces.
Exactly.
Would 5M be at all interested? I mean, 5M is a
Well, that'd
big,
be like, wouldn't they be like, just like the same with the university looking at it? Well, it's a state entity, because they own so much of it, what are they gonna do with it?
continue to farm.
Yeah,
Would 5M ever do this?
it's a good question. They may put chunks of it in, but they may not speculate, because if they get pushed out, then they'll want the option to sell it to move to the next place. You know what I mean?
I mean, I've got what they own. It would be very interesting to see how much they own total.
Okay, we've only got a few minutes left in our meeting.
Brent, did you have more?
One last one, and it's just simple. Final paragraph, applications undergo a competitive review process. Then you mentioned the application process. Is there another word for the first process, or just undergo a competitive review,
Yeah,
period? The application process?
that
It's
bothered
too
me
many
too. but-
processes.
Similarly, I think Kendra touched on this, and what she had suggested is you sort of merge the first and second sentence. So it would say, undergo a competitive review process that is
Is
designed
designed
in
in
phases to be
Perfect.
helpful to
Yep.
landowners.
That solves the problem.
Yep,
She had the same reaction, Brent.
I knew that, but I didn't know what to do.
And that was the answer.
Yeah,
By the way, good work. Thanks, Claire,
Yeah,
for
this
putting
is-
this
well,
together.
Letter writing by committee is
collaborative.
Yeah.
certainly challenging.
All of our proposals are just nitpicky things.
So is it 2 pages now?
So it does go on to the other, I didn't know who you wanted to sign it, if that would be the chair, we could still refer back to contacting Deb.
Once she accepts those edits, it might not be 2 pages.
I think it'll just be one. Change the margins.
To me,
Yeah.
my suggestion is we could leave it like it is now, or we could put Angie in there and just let them know that it can come from Development Services or COSAC or,
Well, either
What do
way,
you- what do you
either
guys-
Angie or you, let's put a name on our, so that they know someone is interested.
I could ask Keegan what he would recommend it.
Yeah,
That might be the best, because it could be the council. What if it was the county executive that wanted to sign on to this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's
That
where's
has
he at on this whole thing?
Pluses and minuses.
you tell me. Haven't had a chance to talk to him about it yet.
He-
But-
I
but
know
Keegan knows
20
Angie, do you have a sense for where just his general view of
George Dang.
the open space stuff?
I don't know particularly about open space, but he's a big fan of trails, so I would assume he would have
Okay,
some also enthusiasm level for open space, but I haven't talked to him directly.
I'm just wondering, like, his signature,
Right.
20 years ago, whenever this started, I heard secondhand that he made a comment that, Reserve Cache County is gonna take billions of dollars.
Yeah.
And it's not realistic,
Yeah.
but I don't know his view on specifics
Yeah.
here.
I still have the letter he sent us when
Oh,
we were
okay.
on the Ag Advisory Board.
I don't know if I ever
saying
saw
saying
that.
to that effect.
There was just a lot of questions at that time. That was 20+ years ago, so
Yeah.
it's not, we're in different times.
And now we have the bond, and that's my view, we have the bond. so
Correct.
Let's deal with it.
Correct.
Well, and
And
Sherwood Hills is a great, like,
people's thinking,
hey, that's the type of thing.
Yeah, the best way possible.
I think a lot of people's thinking has evolved since
Yeah.
then. I have talked to Keegan about, trying to find some time where we can go and meet with the executive to find out more about
Yeah.
his feelings, but so that hasn't happened yet, but we have talked about it, so.
And
I
he's,
think we're just waiting for the right opportunity.
and he's attending council meetings.
Having the executive's name on there, one name might introduce a political consideration one way or the other, might not be helpful. I don't know.
It may be best to come from COSAC,
I think so.
right?
As a committee,
Yeah,
we're asking them to come to us.
right. Alternatively, the council could say, no, we'd rather have it come from us, which I'm fine with too.
I kind of like the committee because we're saying, come here and
Yeah.
let's start a conversation about your land.
Yeah.
Instead of the two that went around us.
What?
Instead of the two that went around us.
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily saying, if it's the right thing, the end result's like most important, right?
You know, that's also a blank we could fill in tonight. We have the authority to speak for ourselves, so we could put the committee there. If they want to change it, fine.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cache County Open Space Committee.
Yeah.
Sincerely, the Cache County Open Space
One
Committee.
less thing for them to do unless they do want to change it.
So just that, no particular person, just.
Chris's home.
I think
phone.
that's fine. Yeah, let's just leave it generic, Cache Open Space Advisory Committee.
Do we have an open space advisory committee email that they could
Well,
just
we've got
contact directly, or
contact
should
up
it go
above.
through?
Contact's up above there.
We got the website. There's not an email there.
An email address would be helpful.
Yeah.
Even
That's
if it's
why
a
it would
personally
maybe come
email
from-
address from our chair.
Yeah.
Development
our-
Services.
Our vice chair or Angie, something where they can reach out directly.
Yeah.
Okay, and there is a little bit of concern, we don't want this to come off as the last one, which was Friends of Cache County Open Space or something like that. That it's actually this committee could be, if it's the Cache County Development Services, that's a government entity. Maybe better from a government entity than from something that could be
Both lines
a
there?
PAC, a political action committee or something.
Yeah, yeah. Should we put both lines there? Development services?
Cache County
And then just
Development
list them
Services and
both.
the Cache County Open Space Committee.
Well, could we put it under this letterhead type, so at the top it's very clear that it's coming from the
Oh, yeah,
county
just
and
the letterhead,
COSAC?
that does it.
Like,
Yeah, and I was just gonna say, if you're gonna put us as the designatee, put our address at the end, take it out of the body. So just remove that section that says for more information, check that off, so contact the advisory committee, and period, drop that stuff all the way down to the contact information underneath. Thank you, open space committee.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
here's
yeah.
contact information.
Yes.
That's fine, one place or the other.
And you pipe in too if you have any like,
So
No,
that's
so
a-
just not put my name on it, that's my letter.
Oh, not your name, huh?
But
Okay.
this email, this Dev Services, this gets checked multiple times a day, it's just kind of our general email box, so. And
Okay.
since Dev Services kind of administers and helps coordinate the open space committee, I think that's appropriate.
good.
But you're, sorry, you were saying you wanted to take this section down?
No, just go back, just the website or contact, and then move, so just leave those 3 words and add a period after the COSACs, and then move that address down below sincerely. So that's the salutation,
Yeah.
is the address and everything at the bottom.
So I probably, for details on applying, please contact the Cache Open Space Advisory Committee, period.
Yep.
And then we, however you wanna say, sign off and then put the contact information underneath. Or what, we wanna say sincerely, Cache County Open Space Advisory Committee, and then the address and contact information below.
both there.
Okay.
Looks great to me.
So I'll go through this, clean it up, get it on the
Okay.
letterhead, and then send it out for a final review.
Great,
Perfect.
that sounds awesome. Should we,
Even if we have to shrink it one font.
would it make sense to take action then, as, before we leave, to adopt these edits in this letter, as well as Eric's presentation for the council? Does
Yes,
that make sense?
let's have a vote.
Okay. Okay, so we would want a motion then to that effect.
I would make a motion. What you said,
Okay,
the aforementioned statement.
okay. So approval of the letter, the recommendation to the council for the letter to property owners and Eric's presentation to the council.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so we have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion, a second. Are there any further discussions on this topic? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. All right. Great. Making progress.
Clarify, you want me to look at the November 4th or the 18th? Or should we wait and hear from?
Keegan had a specified, he said something about, the election that week and that there may
Oh,
not
that's
be
right.
the attention that we would want. And I think he recommended to do it the one before Thanksgiving. But I don't remember exactly, so let's clarify with Keegan perhaps.
As soon as is advisable,
Yeah,
yeah,
yes.
but not into December if we can avoid it.
Right, I agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we do November 4th, I would just need to know that by next Monday, so I can request.
Do you have any sense for that meeting, and do you have this,
I do know we have a public hearing for our water elements on that, so, I'm not sure what else. At least from our office.
I'm okay with either, and I think the answer would just be which one would the council prefer? I mean, which one has the agenda available?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think most of the elections are municipal, so it's not really affecting any of the council
Okay.
members directly.
So I would defer to Keegan, or whatever staff thinks is possible as far as, but hopefully we can get on one of their November meetings.
I will, yeah.
Is that something you can just, get back to us on? Which one might make the most sense? Cause, yeah, I would say either.
But definitely November.
Okay, all right.
And thank you all. I think that's one case where a committee drafting improved the letter quite a bit.
Yeah,
So I'm glad we did it.
yeah, likewise. Yeah. Thanks for your time and thoughts, and without objection, we'll stand adjourned.